So welcome everyone to our Study Abroad podcast series. So today we have Resmita from Nepal, who is right now in Scotland. So we'll be knowing about her journey from Nepal to Scotland. So welcome, Resmita.
Thank you so much, Vishal. Hi, everyone. I'm Resmita. Currently, I'm in Scotland doing my master's degrees. I'm originally from Nepal, and I think you'll be interested to know about my journey in Scotland.
Sure. So Resmita, when was the very first time you thought that there is something like study abroad programs and you could be a good fit for that?
Thank you for the question, Vishal. So this is a very interesting question for me personally because I remember the first time I wanted to go abroad was when I was in grade second because I heard someone from my community going to US for their higher studies. So it goes way back 20 years before or something like that. So that was the first time I thought, okay, it's so interesting to go abroad and study, but then you're too young, so you kind of dream about it. So almost when I completed my grade 12th, I wanted to go to Australia then. So your aspirations change when you grow up. But I could not make it. Then I did my bachelor's degree in Nepal, and then I went to India because India had really amazing business schools. So I thought maybe I'll explore India first before deciding on my foreign journey, international education journey. So I went to India, tried for a couple of top business schools. It was very competitive. I mean, India is massive. The competition is massive out there. I wanted to try for one of the top business schools out there, could not get through. Then I thought maybe I'll keep this plan on hold and explore some other things for myself. So I worked in one of the international education agencies, which is placing students and helping students their dream come true. So I worked in, I think, international education sector for almost a decade. And I knew while I was helping students find their right path, I knew I wanted to find my right path too. So I was continuously thinking about it, but could not put my plan into action. It took me almost, yeah, many years to actually implement my plan. But yeah, better late than never. So here I am doing my MBA from one of the top universities in the UK and in the world too.
Sure. So you applied to only one college or you applied to many colleges and you chose one?
I applied to four universities, so I always had ranking and recognition in my mind. So applied to the top schools. So applied to Glasgow. Glasgow, why? Because I'd already come here 8 years back. I'd seen the university myself. I'd seen the faculty of business school myself, and of course the League of Adam Smith also caught my attention. The other one was Durham also because of their recognition. The third one was Liverpool. Liverpool, I was attracted because of the football and also the ranking of the university. They had an excellent MBA program where they're also taking people to different industries for industrial visits and so on. And the fourth one was my backup plan. So I applied to four universities, got offer from three of them. And then while deciding, because Glasgow, I'd seen it already, I was more convinced. And when I spoke to Glasgow, so the admission process was a little tricky. There was an interview after the application submission. So during the interview, I kind of felt connected to this university more than ever. So the interviewer, the coordinator of the interviewer of the whole program was just really motivating. I mean, inspiring. While interviewing, she made me feel really comfortable. She was talking about Glasgow as a city or Glasgow as a university. So I think I got more inclined towards Glasgow than any other universities that applied to.
Sure. So in your interview, you might have said that, I visited this college like 8 years ago, and that's like one of my motivation to explore this further.
Definitely, I did. Yeah, I did.
And was your interviewer like a bit impressed by that? Because not many people would visit before taking admission.
True. I mean, I think she's not expecting that because while she was asking me why have you applied to Glasgow? So I had my own certain reasons, but this was one of my top reasons. Yeah.
So this made your statement of purpose also stronger. So did you also mention in your statement of purpose and like cover letter, etc., that 8 years ago I did visit Glasgow, and then that's why I would like to apply to Glasgow.
Yeah, I think Vishal, I had a story to tell because my story was authentic. I really wanted to tell the world what I aspired for and what I've achieved. So yeah, I kind of created a story out of it.
So, for the sake of our audience, because a lot of people might not be visiting the college, let's say, etc. But what I also think personally is, if they have visited this college, they will always have a way more compelling story. And because of that story and that statement of purpose and the whole journey, they may also attract some scholarship or some subsidy or something like that, or a ease of admission at least, if not in the monetary form. Do you think something like that this should be done for like teenagers or adults in colleges, so that it's a bit of a kind of inception of an idea that you can also come here, and if even if they don't come there, at least they'll be a bit prevented from derailing from, let's say, a bigger goal.
No, I think that's a wonderful idea because studying abroad itself is a huge decision for anyone, for any student, for our parents. So taking time out to come and visit the college upfront is a good decision, but I also understand not everyone will be able to do it because of all the circumstances. But there are virtual open days. So if you talk about UK, there are virtual open days. So you can see the university virtually. So right now with technology, you can stay in your home country and still explore all the facilities available in the university. So I think it's a great idea for anyone aspiring to study abroad. Come and visit the universities if you can, if your situation allows you, and explore it firsthand before making the decision. Because for an undergraduate, it's I think more difficult decision than a postgraduate, because a postgraduate student is more mature in my case. So I took a lot of time to decide on this. But for an undergraduate, because you're short on time, you have to make a decision quickly. So it's always good. Maybe if you want some vacation ideas, going to the country you wish to study would be a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good advice actually. That if you're already planning a vacation, plan your vacation in the country where you probably want to study for, in future, so that you already
Yeah.
have a bit of idea of the country, and that way you can also make a decision that if this country is what I thought, or it's like the other way around also. And either you can select the thing or you can reject the thing also.
True, true. You can make the right choice. Yeah.
Correct. A much more informed choice, I'll say.
Informed choice.
Yeah. Okay. So next question we have is. What were the application process like for your MBA? What all tests you had to go through, and what all documents you had to submit to the college for your application process?
So for MBA in the UK particularly, graduate management admissions test GMAT is not mandate by all the universities. And since Vishal, I was working, so I could not find right time to prepare for my GMAT. So I thought I'll apply to those set of universities where GMAT is optional and not mandate. So I just wrote IELTS, which is the English language proficiency test. And then I had to prepare for my statement of purpose, which again took a lot of time because you have to present your story in the most authentic manner. You need to sound genuine. I mean, today the technology has taken over the world and people tend to find all the shortcuts in writing story, but I still feel that your story needs to come from you, from within you. So it took me a lot of time to prepare my statement of purpose. And then came my resume, because I have a 10 almost 10 plus years of experience. So my resume was quite a detailed one, and I took some time, I would say at least 3 4 days to work on my resume and submit it. Then we had to submit our passport, all our academic documents. So I had some co-curriculars here and there. I was working as a secretary in one of the charity organizations way back. I'd also got some recognition and awards here and there during my work tenure. So I included that. So overall, if I have to summarize it, it was my passport, my academics, my IELTS, my resume, my SOP, and my co-curriculars. So this was the first application submission, and also few universities had application fee of £50 or for their MBA in particular. So most of the programs are free of cost for application, but MBA being a competitive one, there's some application fee involved here and there. So post my application submission came an acknowledgement. So acknowledgement email followed by what I can expect from the university. So few universities had interview prior to issuing an offer letter. So the interview was quite detailed one. It was almost 20-25 minutes interview, where the interviewer wanted to know whether my MBA plan at this moment fits their university's expectations as well. The interview happened. Post interview, I got an offer. So post offer, I had to pay deposit within certain period of time, and also there were scholarship applications in between. So post application, few universities had their own scholarship procedure. So I applied to a couple of scholarships too. So I would say it was not daunting for me because I'd done this before assisting students. But for those who are doing it the first time, it can be a little tricky, I would say.
Correct, correct. And your letter of recommendation also you had to submit one or two, three, how many?
Oh, yes, I forgot that was, yes, that's a very important document for UK application. So I had to submit two letter of recommendations. I gathered one from my country director as I'm working and one from my regional director. So I gathered two letter of recommendations, and also, yeah, because your letter of recommendation also plays a very important role in your application. Somehow I just missed it. So I got it, and I also got it from the people who know me in person, so that they can write the most genuine things about me in the recommendation letter too.
Sure, sure, sure. And I think once you mentioned technology about writing the SOP, so probably the initial SOP can be done by you as the original story, and probably the technology can be like Chat GPT, etc., can be used to enhance that, maybe the grammar and the wordings, etc. Probably.
I think I would defer here, Vishal, because I think because you need to come to the university and do your writing yourself. So if you utilize, of course, technology is really helpful. You can maybe explore it to gather some ideas, but using it as a tool to enhance is something I would not be personally convinced of.
Sure, sure, sure. I think it depends on the person to
Yeah,
person. Some people
true.
are probably good in writing, some are not so good.
Yeah.
Maybe they can always have few versions and get some reviews here and there, and then choose the best one. Sure, sure. So once your application process was done, then you had to go through the visa process. How was your visa process?
Uh, I had assisted people in past, so I thought it was pretty simple. But when you have to do your own visa, I think I was more cautious than ever in terms of gathering the documents. I knew the process was very simple. In case of UK, you have to maintain your funds for 28 days if you're showing your savings account. So it was pretty much simple. I had saved money in my savings account. I used the statement and the cover letter from the bank mentioning the state of my funds. I did a tuberculosis test, which is a mandate one for UK. So I did that. So it was not much of a tedious documentation, I would say. But when you do your own visa, it's more challenging than I could have imagined it before I was doing it. So, but it was pretty simple, I would say, because right now everything is available online in terms of the processes, and I had done it for my students in the past, so I was aware about the process. But I think taking help from an expert would always ease and smoothen your journey if you're planning to study abroad.
Sure, sure, sure. And how did you book your accommodation?
So initially, I was confused, Vishal, because I was not sure whether I wanted to stay in a university accommodation or a student accommodation. So I was exploring and exploring. It took me quite some time to finalize a student accommodation, and it's expensive out here. So if you're aiming to study in one of the top cities of the UK, you have to have a very good planning of your budget. So while exploring accommodation, I wanted something in my budget, but I also had my requirements too. So I applied around the month of June, but I would suggest anyone applying should start early March rather than June. I did it late because I was just contemplating whether I should stay in an apartment or take a university or a student accommodation. So, but my advice to anyone is apply early. I applied in the month of June, applied to a couple of accommodation, got in one of the preferred accommodation with the recommendation of my MBA batchmate. So connecting with your friends even before coming to the college is also important. So I connected with one of my batchmates and then got to know about a couple of accommodations here and there. So I applied to it before I came to the university, but could not get the preferred room again. So there are different kind of room options available. I came here in Glasgow and then could finalize the right one for me. So it took me a lot of time, I would say. I think finalizing the university was easier than finalizing the accommodation part for me.
Sure, sure, sure. And which flight? How did you choose your flight? How did you come to Glasgow?
So there are a couple of flight options from Nepal in particular. There's no direct flight, so I had to choose the transit option. So being a student, see, you'd also want a budgeted travel because you're already spending so much in your studies and accommodation. So I tried to explore flight options for a week and then chose the best budgeted option I could get. So I flew via Qatar Airways. So there was a transit in Doha, then I came to the city. So I think the flight was pretty good and it was pretty budgeted as well because I explored the option for almost a week. And I also applied for my visa way before time. So that also helped me save some money on the flight cost.
So you booked your flight after you got your visa done.
Yes, I did. I did after
And
my
you flew
visa.
from what was your initial this location that you started
From
from?
Kathmandu, Nepal. From
So
Kathmandu.
Kathmandu, Doha, Doha to Glasgow.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And once you landed in Glasgow, what were your initial impressions like 8 years ago versus now?
It was different. I think 8 years back, I was more naive, I would say. This time I came more planned. So 8 years back, it was an official trip for me um, where I had things arranged for me already. Here, I had to arrange things for myself. So, but it was nice. I mean, the feeling of coming back here was really nice.
Sure, sure. So once you come to Glasgow and you came to your accommodation, you had to probably do your cooking, cleaning, etc. by yourself. How was that adjustment? Like, did you do that back home also, or was it a transition phase? How was it?
I think for me, that was the toughest part, I would say, because though I know, I mean, I know cooking, I know cleaning, I've done a bit back in my home country as well, but not everyone is fond of doing because back in my home country, at least, we get help everywhere, so it's more easier there. But here, you have to do everything by your own. You have to manage your food, you have to manage your cleaning, you have to manage everything by your own. So it's even I knew this is going to happen. It was still very difficult for me in the initial days because you have your classes, you have your induction week going on, you have to come back, prepare food for yourself, which is not I mean, a regular thing for people in South Asia, at least. So I think I had a little tough time in the initial few weeks, I would say. But right now, yeah, I've adjusted well.
So you are now feeling more independent.
Yes, definitely.
Correct, correct. And did you use any hack like cook once and eat 4, 5 times, 10 times, something like that?
I think again, coming from South Asia, I mean, storing the meal is not a very well accepted concept back in my home country. But I prepare once a day, so I'm more relying on the available ready-to-eat food and also fruits and other healthier stuff. But yeah, once a day, I try to prepare a healthy meal for myself, and I don't prefer storing, but here storing is a good concept. People we can buy stored meals, so it's easily available. Vishal, anywhere you go, there are Indian shops where you can buy stored parathas, so that can be stored for days. You can buy those. I've not tried that yet, but I think that's a good option for most of the people. I'm planning to go to one of the Indian stores tomorrow to buy some ready to eat parathas and stuff. So I think, yeah, if you plan it well, I think it's doable.
Correct, correct. And how long has it been since you are in Glasgow now?
It's been 4 weeks.
Okay, okay. So what about these 4 weeks? You had classes starting from the very beginning, or when was your classes starting?
So we had induction for almost 2 weeks. So this program had its own professional development aspect in the first 2 weeks itself. So the induction was pretty nice. It was not more of burdened work, I would say. It was calm. It was they help us feel adjusted to this new atmosphere. And also there were several events happening in the university. So MBA, they consider it as a different program altogether. So it was more of an individualized induction thing, but the university had their own kind of welcome events. I was amazed to see, Vishal, there were more than 300 societies inside the university. So all the societies had planned their own kind of welcome programs for students. So I think it's easy for students to come and find their path here because there's something for everyone.
Correct, correct. And you flew from Kathmandu to Glasgow alone, or you found some more people fly together?
Unfortunately, I could not find anyone. I think I came a little early, so that's the reason I could not find anyone coming here.
Sure, sure. So, what do you recommend to, let's say, the audience or the people who are planning to study abroad? Should they come a bit earlier? Should they come like a week before, 2 weeks before, 1 month before, maybe, and maybe explore the whole UK also, before they start their studies? Any recommendation from your side?
My personal recommendation would be you can come at least a week early so that you don't feel overwhelmed by this new country. So take your time to adjust to the city, go to your university before even your induction day so that you know which bus to take, which commutation is the best option for you. Because walking is a good culture here. It's everything is if you take a university accommodation, everything is 30 minutes walk. So maybe going to the university before your induction day would also um, help you in your first day, because I know first day can be really overwhelming for new students like us who come from a foreign country. So my advice is at least come a week early.
Sure, sure. What about the part-time jobs and internship options? Are you starting to apply for some of them or nothing like that?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I think there are a lot of part-time opportunities available in the city and inside the university as well. So we had during the induction itself, we had a career opportunities team who came to us, explained on how to apply for jobs, how to apply for part-time jobs, and if you're keen for internships, how to approach for internships. So I think the support is ample if we can utilize the support provided from the university. So I'm also planning to apply for a couple of part-time, but right now my schedule is so tight, so I'm not able to do one because my classes are for 5 days a week. So I'm not able to do one, but anyone who is aspiring to do one, I think the opportunities are ample. You just need to apply on time, apply beforehand, and write a good cover letter, because that's not a culture back in my country to write a cover letter for every jobs you apply, and also customize your CV as per the job you're applying to. So again, coming from South Asia, in our countries, at least in my country, you just prepare one CV, standard CV, and then you send it to all the jobs you apply to. But here you need to customize your CV, customize your cover letter. So you need to put your time, some time to your application. And if you do it, I think getting a part time, I myself have not found it very tricky, because some of my friends in other faculties right now, they are able to do part time jobs very well because the classes are for 3 days a week.
And how many students are in your batch, like in your class, and which countries or which ethnicity are they belonging to?
So in my MBA program, we have people from 12 nationalities right now. So major population is from India, China, of course, considering the population. Then we have people from the UK, we have people from the USA, we have people from Nigeria, Thailand, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Indonesia. So quite a mix. It's quite a mix, I would say. And yeah, it's pretty interesting to see people from diverse nationalities coming to a classroom. So our cohort is a cohort of 40 different people, and it's really interesting to see people come with diverse set of experiences too. So for our MBA program, the requirement for admission was at least having some managerial experience. So Vishal, you would not even, I don't know whether you would agree to this or not. I was amazed to see people with 18 years of experience come to this program. So it's amazing to see people from diverse nationalities as well as diverse set of experiences.
So did you try to calculate like how many years of experience everyone has so you could place yourself?
I think the average one I would say would be around 8 to 10 years. So I think I kind of fit into that average.
Okay, okay. So you're happy about it.
Yes, I am. I am. So I'm not too late, or I've not done it too soon as well. So yeah.
Correct, correct. And what about assignments and all? Like, are you able to do it? Are you finding it a bit hard because you had a bit of a gap, let's say, and things like that? How is the education like?
Oh yes, assignment part is daunting, I would say. So when the academic core academics started, because I had quite a gap in my academics already. I mean, when the first we have a deadline of our first assignment coming very soon, but there are a lot of pre-readings which needs to be done, which is not a culture back in my home country again. So back in Nepal, we don't do pre-readings. I mean, before coming to the class, we don't do any kind of studies or anything as such. It is at back 10 years back we didn't do it. I don't know what's the system right now, but here you have to do a lot of pre-readings before coming to the class. So everything is uploaded in the online university's portal, and you need to read it going, I mean, upfront to the class. So that was a little challenging for me because every day a lot of readings, and reading is not a very good, I mean, because I had a gap of almost 10 years. So I think I had to relearn or rebuild the habit of reading. So that was little challenging for me in the first week. And assignment, yeah, because referencing is not a culture again back in my home country. Referencing citation needs to be done with all the work I present or every writing I do. So that was a little challenging for me in the initial days. But I think I'm
And
slowly coping with it.
sure, sure. And what about the MBA specialization? You have to decide it at the very beginning, or you can decide it later.
For us, we can decide it in the month of November. So they're giving us first 3 months to take time to figure out what is the best specialization for us. So we have four different options. So right now I'm thinking of marketing maybe, but maybe by the time I come to the decision, I might even change it to finance or strategy.
So your work experience was like counseling people, or it was I mean, like marketing, sales, or everything pretty much like previous to MBA?
Um, Yeah, so I started as a counselor, but then my last designation was a senior manager for taking care of two major destinations. So I managed a team of 24 people. So my major role was sales and operations. But since I was interested in marketing as well, I always talk to my marketing manager to understand what all we're doing to capture the market, so get traction from the market. So I was always interested to know that. But yeah, sales and operations is my forte.
Okay, okay, sure. So you already have that, the marketing and sales as your
Yeah.
experience. So, so you have probably two options, either to continue that or change that or add a bit of more
True.
diversified experience. Sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure. And once you landed here and you were settled with all this household things and these things, that things, there is one more difference that we have in foreign colleges versus India is that placement assistance is not as good as India, let's say India or maybe Nepal and neighborhood of that. So how do you see that? Do you see that as a hurdle or do you see that as an opportunity to grow yourself?
Yeah, placement, the way placements works in at least India and Nepal, I know, is very different to the way placement works in the UK at least. So I think in India and Nepal, you do your graduation and then you have placement agencies coming to your university and they'll help you. I mean, the university will itself help you settle in that particular job. But here, they want you to do your own work. So they're giving you opportunities. So I remember last week there was some top multinational companies who came to the university just to give a brief on how to apply for jobs. But not everyone would sign up for it because you have to sign up for membership, you have to attend the event, and the event happened late evening. So it was around 7:30 the event started. So not everyone would go for these kind of events. So I think if you plan your education journey well, placement might be, of course, trickier, but not impossible, I would say. But you have to start right from day one on what you want to do after your course, because I'm coming here for my postgraduate, so I don't have all the time in my life to apply for jobs. So I have started working on my resume and my cover letter right now itself, so that I can find a good placement option, good job opportunity post my course completion. But the support is immense. There are international career opportunities team. There is a job portal where you can apply for jobs. There are some CV strengthening courses happening here and there. There are top companies coming in the university to help you understand what kind of application you need to make, or what kind of cover letter you need to make. So if you are able to capitalize on the opportunity you have within the university, and I think almost all the universities would have it, the placement would not be that challenging. um, at least right now I can safely say that, because I've not come to that journey yet. But I think if you plan early and utilize all the resources universities would have to offer, it is going to be less difficult than expected.
Correct. And what about the weather change? Like in this last 4 weeks, 1 month, did you see the weather change a bit, or it's pretty much constant?
Yes, the weather is not. I think the weather is the only inconsistent thing I've seen here in the UK. So when I came here, it was raining. The other day, the sun was shining the brightest in its brightest form. And again, 2 days later, it's raining like it is the gloomiest day on earth. So the weather is inconsistent. And that's why I think layering is a very good concept here. You layer yourself with a couple of clothes, and as per the weather, you keep on adjusting yourself. So I think that I'm learning that aspect. Layering is not a concept again back home. So here you have to layer, because the weather might be gloomy in the morning, but the sun might shine the brightest in the afternoon. And again, it might rain as well in between. So just be prepared for everything in a day.
Correct, correct. So what are your future goals in next few years?
Pretty interesting question again. So I would want to utilize the graduate immigration route, the GIR pathway, and work here for at least 2 years. I was also very happy in my home country, so I was doing a great job, and helping study abroad aspirants was a kind of a good job, as well as gave me a lot of fulfillment within me. So I really enjoyed my job. Maybe I'll go back after a couple of years and join the same industry. Maybe I'll start something of my own. So right now I'm exploring on what is there in the platter for me, or what platter I have to create for myself.
Sure, sure. I think still people might be connecting with you, like, can you help me? Can you help me there, here? Because you're already known to the community. And now you're there, so, people will trust you even more. So your personal brand or the trust is going to be way more now versus, let's say, a few years ago, because that time you were only doing it as an experience. But now you are
Yeah,
actually, you are like a doer who is going to give the counseling.
true. And I think living the experience is different from talking about it. So I think it's different. Like I told you, when I was helping the students, when I was doing my counseling job, it was much easier. When I'm living the experience, it's different. So yeah,
Yeah, and also counseling you are doing for the admission part, right? The living is actually after the admission.
true, true.
So
That's
now
true.
you are living the unsaid things.
Yes, yes, yes. I think, and
So
we need to talk about it more often, I would say.
correct, correct, correct. I think people should know about the experiences that happen after they take admission or after they join there,
Yeah.
because and that's where I think we are doing this podcast also, so that they know what is it like that to study abroad after doing all the admission process. Because most people or most counselor or let's say the consultants talk about till the admission, but what happens after the
True.
admission is the only story that can be told by the alumni and the current students.
That's right.
Okay, Reshmita. So next question that I have is, you have been a counselor for a decade or so. So you would have probably met lot of people, right? Different kinds of people, this, that, like, different backgrounds, etc. So what are the main reasons to study abroad for like your students that you encountered? What were the key reasons, like two, three reasons, maybe not one reason is a common reason. What are the reasons, like in your experience at least, what are the key reasons why people go for study abroad programs?
So I have worked both in India and Nepal in the counseling domain, and I think both the countries were similar yet different in terms of students choosing their study abroad journey. So the first and foremost I've seen is upscaling themselves, because they're not able to get that kind of opportunity in their home country. The second one I've seen most common is um, the opportunity to possibly immigrate later in that country itself. The third one is um, able to place themselves in the global arena in a much better way, because at least in Nepal there are not many multinational companies, so able to work in one of the top professional companies is what have inspired many of the study abroad aspirants to those whom I've helped so far. But there are other unsaid reasons. So some of the people come because their parents have graduated from a top university. That's why they want to continue the legacy. There's some students, they're just bored out of staying in their home country and they want to explore something new and challenging. So the reasons are pretty vague and pretty vast for everyone, but the most common one is upskilling themselves because they were not able to find the right match in their home country, and maybe possibly planning to immigrate later in that country too.
Yeah, that immigration is also part of upskilling and upgrading their lifestyle in some
Yeah,
ways.
true.
Correct, correct, correct. So, coming to the very last question, Rashmita, about this podcast, is what advice would you give to younger yourself, like the people who are aspiring to study abroad, or let's say younger you 5, 10 years ago? What advice would you give to them? Any pro tips?
Yeah, I think this is the question I've not thought about, but mm, to the younger self, maybe I would suggest to explore a lot of options before jumping into conclusions, at least in terms of your international application. Apply at least a year early, because then you might be able to apply for the right scholarships, because there are a lot of scholarships. So I myself got a 50% scholarship for my MBA program. So apply early, and apply for every scholarship. Whether you think you deserve to apply for this one, apply for every scholarship opportunity you find. Um, and take help whenever you're stuck. Take help from the right people, maybe your seniors, maybe alumni from the university. Connect via LinkedIn. So I think that's a great option. You can talk to alumni upfront, talk to the university people upfront, because there's always an option to connect to the university admissions team via fairs, education fairs, or writing an email directly to the university. So I would say take a lot of time up, I mean, in your research before finalizing the destination or institution you would want to apply to, and capitalize on all the opportunity you get in terms of your scholarship application, because I'm sure everyone would want to save at least some money. And scholarship is also a matter of pride and recognition, at least in South Asia. So apply for all the scholarships, apply early, don't dwell into thinking too much, get into action. So yeah, to my younger self, I would say get into action, apply early, and just do the best for yourself. So yeah,
Sure, sure, sure. Thank you, Rashmita, for your time. And we hope you achieve all your goals and have a good day.
thank you so much. I wish you a good day too, and thank you for inviting me for this podcast. Thank you.